Hi, everyone. Okay, after reading those interviews and listening to the interviews, the Finkelstein and Rosenthal shocking statements and claims and just laying it all out there, I see this in a whole new light, okay? Look, this is Ezra Levant. He is making the satanic hand sign, and he's talking about the Swedish church that removes crosses to make Muslim migrants feel welcome. And you know, before I would just read this and I go, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. And how are the Muslims just getting so much attention and getting their way? And now I see it in a different light. And you guys, the little issues are little issues. They are going to take the guns and they are going to do, but they have this huger goal. And the big issue is that they serve Lucifer. They admit it. Lucifer, this is their God. And this is Ezra Levant. You know what Levant means? I mean, just think. It's in the Middle East. That's where ISIS is. ISIL is the Islamic State in the Levant or whatever. Levant, the Middle East. It's an area. It means east. And it also means the place where the sun rises. And this is his name, Ezra Levant. What's going on? Okay, names of the Levant. So you can see it here. Here's the area, all right? And, you know, it's a family name, but it has all this history, unbelievable history. Egyptian, Canaan, Phoenician, Israel, Judea, Assyria. This is what's going on is just mind-blowing. You know, it's just mind-blowing. And they're fooling everyone. Everyone. And here we are at this point in time, and I don't know. I guess Jesus is right. He is the light. Medieval Italians called the region Levant akin to the words levity and levitate after its easterly location where the sun rises. This term was adopted from Italian and French into many other languages. Okay, it's all about the Holy Land, cradle of civilization. I mean, this is a powerful word. And this guy is named Ezra Levant. Here he is flashing the hand sign. Look at the look on the face. And what is he talking about? He's talking about a Swedish church who decides to move crosses to make Muslim migrants feel welcome. And who is the bishop of this church? She is a lesbian activist. Okay, what's going on? This is I mean, things are being done to society, and remember, manipulating people's minds. That's what those articles, those interviews talked about, how easy it is to control the minds, shape people's thinking. In those articles, the Rosenthal and Finkelstein articles, they said they can't even believe how easy it is to implant the thinking that they want people to think. Okay, so watch this video. It's from Rebel Media. Oops, sorry about not having the sound. Okay, here we go.
I've got a story I want to tell you about a church in Stockholm, Sweden, called the Seafarers Church. It's a Christian church.
Oh, also, watch the hands. Now that we've watched Darren Brown, watch the hands. I mean, he's got crazy hands going on here. And he sounds a bit like Morris 108. And you know, Morris is all pro Koran also. I don't know why, but Jesus is not popular right now, okay? Jesus as the light, Jesus who said love fulfills the law, Jesus is not popular. So be ready for that, okay? No one likes him. I do.
Of course, but it's Bishop Eva Brun wants to take down the crosses. Instead, she actually wants to mark the direction to Mecca so that Muslim migrants can use the church and pray to Mecca and not be
But doesn't he sounds like he's shocked, but he's happy about this. I think.
offended by anything too churchy. It's a real story. Here it is in a Stockholm newspaper. The bishop says she wants the church to be more like a bus station or an airport with a non-denominational lounge, except that, of course, it would have directions pointing to Mecca, just no crosses. So by non-denominational, she really means to turn the church into a mosque. It's a cute...
You saw that hand sign, right? There it is. See? In the little picture right there? I can't resist. There you go.
To Mecca, just no crosses. So by non-denominational, she really means to turn the church into a mosque. It's a cute little church near Stockholm's Freeport. Surely the church is more than a century old, and in the end, it is being snuffed out not by the government, not by a war, not even by Muslim migrants, but by a church guardian who is no longer guarding anything. She is undermining it. Like Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, Bishop Brun so detests her own culture and history, she wants to hand it over to whomever, without a fight, without even a request. It's strange. I mean, Bishop Brun is a lesbian activist. Does she not know what Muslim fundamentalists do to uncovered women, let alone to lesbians? Does she think her half-step towards turning her church into a mosque will end there? Does anyone care about the West anymore? It's a bizarre question to ask. The West, by that I mean Western civilization, is the moral apex of man's entire history. I don't just mean the economic apex, the scientific apex. I mean, it's a place where slavery has been abolished, where women have been emancipated, where tolerance for different religions and races is the norm. Its economic success has had a great moral impact too. Western capitalism has created so much wealth that even a poor person in the West lives as a 1%er would in the third world, let alone the fact that the West gives aid to other peoples. But that's the thing about luxury and wealth and leisure. It can turn to purposelessness and sloth.
Did he just do it again?
But that's the thing about luxury
Yes.
and wealth and leisure. It can turn to purposelessness and sloth. I meant to self-loathing. 75 years ago, Europe fought and tens of millions of Europeans died to preserve Western culture, to stop a master race from dominating others, to stop an authoritarian regime from destroying liberal democracy. Once again, we have a master race. It calls itself a master religion now. I'm talking about radical Islam. It is authoritarian in the most theocratic forms, and it most certainly does not believe in liberal democracy. But instead of fighting now, Europe runs to surrender. The Germans call it Selbsthass, self-hatred. Europe's got it in droves. Let me switch continents for a moment. The second president of the United States, John Adams, once wrote a letter to his wife, Abigail, about why he fought, about why he supported war. Here, let me quote him. It's just 3 sentences. I must study politics and war, that my sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy. My sons ought to study mathematics and philosophy, geography, natural history, naval architecture, navigation, commerce, and agriculture, in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, statuary, tapestry, and porcelain. I'll tell you what my point is. Here's a guy who valued liberty so much, he helped George Washington start a revolution, an actual war for freedom, in which tens of thousands of Americans were killed. John Adams said that it was so his sons could focus on just becoming prosperous and his grandsons could be artists and poets. I'm sure that many Europeans spoke that way in the 1940s. Maybe not so much in neutral Sweden, but all around it. Maybe Churchill spoke that way. Maybe de Gaulle spoke that way. They must fight war so their sons and daughters could become prosperous, and their grandsons and granddaughters could study painting, poetry, and music. But then what? What if the strong generation is gone? What if anyone who knows how to fight is dead or old and ignored? What if no one around still remembers how high a price was paid for that little seafarer's church to even be allowed to be free? And so its current accidental guardians throw it all away, like someone who finds a priceless pearl on the beach and throws it back into the ocean not knowing its worth. That is all of Europe, a continent drenched with so much blood in a centuries-long quest to be free. A continent in which so many generations sacrificed to build a civilization of peace and prosperity and liberalism, but now they're just giving it up to the world's most aggressive civilization, radical Islam. But hey, they've got that Western politeness, don't they? They don't even need to be asked to take down the crosses in their churches. They'll volunteer in advance. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.
But wait a minute. Wait a minute. What about all of the Western countries that aren't peaceful, like the US and England and France, and going and waging war? So that's a lie. Thanks for watching, everyone. He also says in this, he says something, he mentions the word mark. I forgot. It's somewhere in there. You can watch it again and find it for yourself, but these words are not dropped for nothing. There's a huge plan happening. Don't believe everything. And Jesus is the light. And if you have Jesus, you won't walk in darkness. This is the truth. Bye for now. Many blessings.